Hello and welcome to this Year 7 Parent Support Evening video. I would like to start by saying just how much we are enjoying working with your children. They are making a really positive contribution to the school in so many ways, and I want to thank you for all of your support so far this academic year. Now obviously your children have joined us under very unusual circumstances, and so their journey has had something of a stuttering start. However, we always want to stay in close contact with you, and that is why we have endeavoured to reach out to you in this way in an effort to support you today. The purpose of these videos has evolved over the years, and what we have learnt is that it's very important to support you as parents to understand and engage with key activities and initiatives that are taking place in school, so that you are then best placed to support your children in engaging with them from home. It is our experience that it is this unity that leads to extremely positive outcomes for the children that we work with in school every day. If we were meeting face to face as normal, we would begin with a short reflection and poem. Today, that poem is going to be read by our year reps, Shalom and Raphael.
I dreamed I stood in a studio and watched two sculptors there.
The clay they used was a young child's mind, and they fashioned it with care.
One was a teacher, the tools she used were books and music and art.
One was a parent, with a guiding hand and a gentle, loving heart.
And when at last their work was done, they were proud of what they had wrought.
For the things they had worked into, the child could never be sold or bought.
And each agreed she would have failed if she had worked alone.
For behind the parent stood the school, and behind the teacher stood the home.
And each agreed she would have failed if she had worked alone, for behind the parent stood the school, and behind the teacher the home. Now, this sums up the partnership that we are striving to build with you, and hopefully is a theme that echoes through this video presentation. I would now like to take some time to introduce the people and themes that we are going to touch on today. Firstly, you will hear from Miss Hunter. Miss Hunter has assumed responsibility for Year 7 as Learning Coordinator until the end of the academic year. This is because, as many of you may know, Mrs. Shepherd's daughter Katie has been taken ill and is beginning some intensive treatment in the coming days. Mrs. Shepherd has been granted some compassionate leave in order to focus on her daughter and her family. I am sure you will join me in supporting this decision and will continue to send your love, thoughts and prayers to Katie and her entire family. Miss Hunter is an experienced pastoral leader, and it is a pleasure to have her join the team alongside Mrs. Flint and a wonderful group of form tutors. Miss Hunter is going to give you some insight into various initiatives that are currently underway in Year 7. She will reference Unifrog, which is a careers, advice and guidance platform used to help your children generate a vision of success for their futures. Miss Hunter will also introduce you to Heroes, a bespoke language for learning at the John Henry Newman School, and our first opportunity to feed back to you on your child's academic transition into the school. Finally, Mr. Sansom will introduce you to some work we're doing in school in relation to the science of learning and retrieval practice. He will outline some strategies and techniques for revision that, if we continue to encourage your sons and daughters to embrace now, will see them flying in terms of test preparation as they move through the school. I hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Unifrog is an online platform where students can create a vision of success for the future. It allows students to explore different interests and write about all of their experiences. The Year 7s are set a fortnightly homework by Mrs. Brown, our careers advisor. The Year 7s have been engaging well with these activities already and have got fantastic profiles. I would encourage you to keep accessing your Parent Unifrog account to see all of the information your child has added. Thank you for all of your support with this. Heroes is a learning review that each student will receive each term to assess their current attitude to learning. The focus is on their home learning, inquiry skills, reflection and organisation. For home learning, are they putting a lot of effort and detail into their work? For inquiry, do they ask questions to support their learning? For reflection, do they show willingness to learn from their mistakes to improve their work? And finally, organisation, do they have the correct equipment they need for each lesson? The students will receive a level for each of their subjects based on the 4 Heroes criteria. They will be dynamic, positive, passive or disengaged. We ask for our students to aim for positive and dynamic for all of their subjects. If your child receives a passive or disengaged in a subject, it suggests they may need some support or guidance in this area. This is an example of a Heroes Learning Review you will receive. Please take some time to look over the information and have a discussion with your child about their learning review and reflect together on their progress. Please can you remind your child that they only need to spend a maximum of 30 minutes on a piece of homework. It's okay if they are struggling with a piece of work, they can speak to their subject teacher or their form tutor for some help. Students have been provided with a homework timetable, and we would recommend that this should be printed off at home so they can use it to help with their organisation.
Hello, my name is Mr. Sansom and I'm a science teacher here at the John Henry Newman School. This year I've been looking into ways in which we can help pupils improve how they retain things they learn in lessons over time. So I thought I'd use this as an opportunity to talk to you briefly about how pupils can use their time more wisely when preparing for a test. When I ask pupils, especially in Year 7, what does revision mean? Or, how did you revise for that test? I often get the response, I read through my notes, sir. While this is better than nothing, educational research shows that this alone is one of the least effective methods of revision. One of the most highly regarded methods of revision that is supported by lots of educational research is retrieval practice. Retrieval practice is the act of recalling learned information from memory without much support, and every time that information is retrieved or an answer is generated, it changes the original memory to make it stronger. Put simply, the more times you pull a memory from the back of your mind to the forefront of your mind, the stronger that memory becomes. So, how to do retrieval practice? Firstly, the pupil identifies a topic or subtopic to focus on and makes sure that they're familiar with the content that they need to revise. Retrieval practice works best when it's done from memory without support, so any revision material should be covered up and then the pupil should carry out an activity that challenges them to recall that information. This could simply involve a parent asking questions using a revision resource such as an exercise book, revision guide, or knowledge organiser. Encourage your child not to worry if they can't remember an answer to a question. Simply reveal the answer and they should then try and answer that same question again later. Repeat until they can answer it from memory. As you can see on this slide, it could also be done through using flashcards or completing quizzes or any task that requires a retrieval of knowledge. It's important for pupils to take a break and retry these strategies a bit later, focusing on the areas that they struggle to retrieve. Finally, I thought I'd share this with you. This is a postcard that Mr. Hewitson has given to all Year 7 pupils, and the pupils are encouraged to complete a retrieval activity at the beginning of their lessons. It shows some more suggestions for retrieval activities. For example, a brain dump is another effective strategy that can be used, where a pupil simply takes a few minutes to write down as much as they can remember about a topic or a subtopic. They then use their revision resources to check what they've written is correct, and then in another colour add to and improve the notes that they made. The next time that they do this, they should hopefully remember a bit more and with fewer mistakes. I hope that you found this useful in supporting your child to prepare for a test. Thank you for listening.
There are multiple platforms for students and parents to use. Students must ensure that they log on to their own Show My Homework to access work and sometimes to submit work as well. This is the main platform used for communication with students about notices and messages as well. Students must know how to access their school email from home. To access the student's school email, they need to go to the John Henry Newman website. Students then need to click on Quick Links and then choose School Email Access. They will then be able to use their normal school email address and password. This is another way that staff use to communicate with students. Finally, there is Microsoft Teams. This is used for blended learning when a bubble needs to self-isolate. Students can log into Microsoft Teams using their school email address and password. They will already have been put into their class teams and this would be ready for them to access for their live lessons. Please can I ask you to spend some time with your child to familiarise them with these platforms. Should you have any questions or queries, these are some of the people to contact. The Year 7s have some fantastic form tutors who are their first port of call for contact. Please familiarise yourself with their email address. Furthermore, to support the Year 7s and their form tutors, there is Mr Hewitson, Director of Lower School, myself, Miss Hunter, Learning Coordinator for Year 7, and Mrs Flint, Assistant Learning Coordinator for Year 7. Overall, I would like to say thank you for listening. I'm very proud of the Year 7s and I'm looking forward to supporting them throughout this year. Thank you very much.